Greetings, humans! So, currently, I work at the airport. I won't say which one, but it's one of the most visited airports in the world and in the US. Anyways, the company I work for manages all the taxis going into the airport by putting them all in one big parking lot that's really close by, and then makes them line up and wait in there to prevent traffic jams, fights, and other problems unsupervised cab drivers might cause. We're basically like the gate guardians of the airport for cab drivers. To get in, they're required to be given a ticket by the company with an assigned terminal to be at. Though sometimes they don't listen and go wherever they want in the airport, which causes a lot of problems with other drivers who are actually supposed to be there, and there's no room for them in the taxi zone to park, which leads to the rogue driver being reported. That's where my coworkers come into play. They're the ones managing the cabs once they're inside of the airport. My job, however, is the brains of the entire operation. I control the amount of cabs going into the airport, what time they're going in, what terminal they're going to, and when they leave. Pretty much their unofficial manager while they're in the airport. I work from inside a not so small booth made entirely of metal. It also has a small window that slides open, and it has the lock broken, and I hate it! Whenever there are no flights coming into the airport, the cab drivers swarm up on that window and open it to ask when the next flight will be. Normally this wouldn't bother me if it was just one person asking, but imagine having the same question asked literally hundreds of times in 1 hour. No! Just no! Sometimes they open the window just to look inside to see what I'm doing. It makes me feel like a zoo animal or something, and it's weird as hell seeing their heads over each other. Sometimes I like to imagine they're a horde of zombies trying to break in there whenever I'm bored. Now, my coworkers, they get so much crap from the drivers. I feel so bad for them. I often have to keep an eye out on certain drivers and be careful of where I'm sending them because some of my coworkers don't get along with certain drivers, and to avoid literal fistfights between them, I have to send them elsewhere. You'd think all these old grown-ass men who drive passengers from all over the world would know how to deal with people, but no! They're so goddamn petty sometimes! Now, I'm not saying all of them are like that, no way, but there's enough of them that are like that to be really problematic. I remember when I first started working there, I was not used to dealing with people that had such difficult personalities. It shocked me how rude some of them were from the start, but now that I've been there almost 1 year, I'm always expecting the worst from everyone regardless of who they are, and in return I project the worst of me to them. It's a horrible cycle. I'm sure if I took the time to meet each and every one of the drivers, I would hear interesting stories from all of them. But unfortunately, most of the time, being too familiar with them can be a bad thing because they start asking for favors like letting them cut in line or sending them into the airport without a ticket to try their luck. I could understand why. I mean, gotta make that money. But unfortunately, I have rules and principles I'm expected to follow. And letting one person break the rules can mean that that person might tell others, causing many to break the rules because they think I will simply sit by and allow it. But no! Rules are rules! And then they try to bribe me with either food or money, to which I respond, "I'm sorry sir, but the $4 you are offering me is not worth the $450 I am earning a week. Get back in line like everyone else, please." We aren't allowed to take anything from cab drivers. It's considered a bribe and we can get fired for that. This is the reason why the company I work for goes through so many employees a year. Coworkers thinking the drivers are cool and take bribes from them, only for that driver to report the employee and having him fired. Like, dang. I know it sounds like I probably hate my job. I do, but working the graveyard shift sure has its advantages. For example, my shift is the least busy and also the least staffed. It's dead half the time, so you know that I just go to sleep or play video games or draw or whatever I'm in the mood for to pass the time. It basically feels like I'm just hanging out in my room. I've had some really terrible jobs, and like all jobs, this one has its annoying parts, but so far, it's the easiest job I've ever had. I mean, it's not often one gets to say, Yo! I took a nap for 3 or 4 hours at work today. Or I've been playing Pokemon the entire shift. What am I doing with my life? The other shifts got it bad though. They are so busy that when they see me come into the booth with my pillow or 3DS, they're like, what the Yup. I honestly don't know what my intentions were with this video. I was trying to come up with a way to welcome you all a bit into my private life in an interesting manner. And this was the first thing that came to my mind, as it takes a huge chunk of my day, 5 days a week. I'm not necessarily good at speaking to people. Not that I'm shy or anything. I just struggle to come up with things to talk about. So this is my first attempt to, change that. So thank you for taking the time to listen. Let me know in the comments the jobs you've all had and any interesting experiences you went through at work or school. I don't know. Some of you are kind of young, so I guess you haven't had a job yet. I look forward to reading your stories. See ya!